she was trying to love me. She was loving me hard though, and she was trying to protect me. And I said, nah, and I ran. I literally left the house, and I went to an Airbnb. I checked into this Airbnb, and I turned to all the things that, since a youth, that I turned to for fulfillment.
Distractions.
All the distractions.
Going to distract.
Right? I had my drink, I had my smoke, and I had lust. Right? And I went into the Airbnb, and I would drink, and I smoke, and I'd go out, and I would, look at people that I was interested in. And in 4 days, I managed to vice myself to sickness. I felt like I probably had COVID or something during that time. I got real sick. And anytime I would go into that shadow behavior, I would look in the mirror and I would secretly hate myself.
You are now entering the sacred sanctuary. Welcome back to the Sacred Sanctuary, where we explore healing, self-love, and divinity. I am your host, Shardae, and I'm super excited to dive into today's topic with our special guest, Mr. Devan DeMarcus. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thanks for asking. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm real proud right now. I'm feeling very official in this setting,
It's nice It's cool. Talk to me.
Yeah, and first off, thank you for being my first guest. You are the first guest ever on the Sacred Sanctuary. So, and I think this is going to be like an amazing episode. Like I feel it. It's just in my bones. The spirit is speaking to me. I know it's going to be big. But what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to explore the dynamics of relationships between Black men and Black women, the family structures, the dynamics, healing, how you show up in that healing, kind of navigating relationships when they're toxic, or how you show up or how you expect someone else to show up, and just kind of diving into all of that, how it is to heal as a Black man in today's world, what that looks like, so we're gonna get real deep, open, vulnerable. Okay, so we met on a set for a podcast that you were doing called Sunday Dinner. It's really about Black men getting together and talking about healing and how you show up as a Black man. But I want you to kind of dive into the idea behind Sunday Dinner, which y'all were doing.
Really it was Sunday Dinner was about a group of guys coming together. It really happened by way of me linking up with a guy that I knew in Atlanta before I left to head out west, and he ended up having a conversation, we all ended up having a conversation. Three of us, me, Westwood, and Hobo. We sat down, we had a conversation, and we're like, yo, this needs to happen. Clearly, there's room that needs to be created for Black men to talk, and that's what it was. We came together on Sundays to kind of vent and catch up, and create space for Black men to share, because obviously a lot is going on, and we kind of shoulder a lot of things. So I think that's what that group is, Sunday Dinner. Shout out to the guys that are still meeting and holding space for each other. So that's where we met. I actually forgot. That's where we met. Yeah. I know that's where we met, but we've been what is it, like 6 months ago, 7 months ago?
I feel like that was
summertime.
I think it was right before the summertime. Actually, I don't know, maybe August, May.
No, it was before. It was like, it had to be back in like May or June.
It had definitely had to be May.
Yeah, something.
I'm recounting some memories that I have, and I know like it happened before certain things.
Exactly.
So yeah, the conversation. So I'm thinking it was May.
Well, there you go.
And then Devin's a trainer. He's been in the personal training space for how many years? Like, I don't even know how many years.
I first started training in 2007.
Okay.
My sophomore year in college.
Okay.
And I'm a former athlete, so
Yeah.
it made sense to segue out of athletics, out of football, into the world of health and wellness. But in some strange way, it's not just like the world of health and wellness. My worlds are married. The art world each other, and now they've given way to this thing called the hard work.
Yeah.
Right? Which is centered around kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah. And the hard work is, I know from when, so you trained me for a bit, and that was the brand, the hard work. And he's an amazing trainer. I mean, yeah, I remember those days. Hurting, but that's where we kind of dove deeper, and I, got to learn a lot more about you. And then I learned that you were a founding member of this group, or what is it?
It's a platform, it's an organization.
Platform called Black. Okay, so platform.
Let's see if you get it right.
Black Men Smile. I remember. So I remember the name Black Men Smile, and that was pretty much around kind of highlighting more promising images for Black men, right?
Positivity.
Okay.
Creating a space for Black men to share their voices, share positive imagery about themselves, and really explore. I guess explore, for me, I can speak about what that platform still means to me. In 2014, I was pursuing my artistry, and as I was doing my acting thing and modeling and all that stuff, a guy by the name of Carlton Mack, who's actually the founder of Black Men Smile, he, in the midst of all the controversy surrounding Black men with like the Trayvon Martins and the Mike Browns and all that stuff that was happening at the time, he, I guess, answered a question that he had with himself, like, how do you act? How do you interject into that normative narrative that was surrounding Black male identity? And he decided to do that in a way that promoted positive, healthier, more robust images of Black men. And that gave way to the hashtag Black Men Smile, and then that evolved over the course of several years, and it is what it is now, and that was really important to me to be a part of that, because at the time I was transforming and evolving as a man and moving beyond some of the limited portrayals that I participated in. So I was able to see myself through those images, through those experiences with other Black men, and I was able to connect and learn more about us and our stories, and as well as share and celebrate more of my own.
I love that.
So that's kind of what that platform is. Still means a lot to me to this day. For 4.5 years, I served in the role as co-founder and co-director of it. So it was very important to me to be a part of that, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I've continued that journey through health and wellness and my own, I guess, my journey to find balance, right? We're both creatives. And I think oftentimes for the creative type, you tend to sacrifice a lot of what normal people focus on, right? Like the starving artist, or those cliche terms that go towards labeling.
Yeah.
You talk Black Men Smiling, or you talk about the labeling in those boxes that we fit within. For artists, a lot of the times, they sacrifice a lot of the everyday things in pursuit of their gifts.
Yeah.
So I'd done that for several years, from graduating college until at the time when I decided to move to Los Angeles, which was in 2018. In 2018, I had sacrificed a lot of things, and I struggled to find balance in a few key areas.
Okay.
And maybe a lot of other people, not just men, deal with this. I struggled to find balance between my mental health, my emotional health, my physical, spiritual, and financial. And either I was good in 3 and off in 2, or good in 4 and off in 1. So I was like, that was my own journey, my own inner battle that was happening. I was like, well, I can go get the bag, but that means I got to go work. Or in my case, I was hustling. I was, running around, running in the streets. I can go get the bag, or I can focus on my craft, or I can focus on my emotional health and my mental health, but my financial health is all jacked up.
Yeah.
So that was my pursuit of that, and that inspired me to move away to Los Angeles, move outside of my comfort zone, and go on a personal journey of exploring what it was and what it means to have balance in those areas, and operate not as a creative, not as any of these labels, but as just a basic, regular human being, and find that find that balance. So that's kind of what it was for me. And then over time, because I had experience training going back to 2007, it became like this thing where I was offered the opportunity to move to California to take a position as a fitness director. And then that led me to Equinox, and that led me to Soul House, and I went on this journey and talked about love and stuff like that. I think that's what we're going to talk about. I ended up, going through some things out there that kind of taught me more about myself and who I've been in past seasons and who I aspire to be moving forward. So that's kind of a roundabout way of explaining how I was introduced to health and wellness.
Yeah. Even just kind of your own journey. I mean, you speak a lot about the journey and the transformation. And I like what you said about trying to balance all of these things within. And it's like, if I focus on this and I can't get that. So now sitting in the seat where you are in this space, in the present moment, how do you feel like you've balanced the emotional, the spiritual, the financial? How do you feel like you've balanced all of that?
To the best of my ability, I try to make some of these things a daily, if not a daily, then definitely a weekly practice. I'm listening to this app. We listen to it in the morning. It's called Open. It's a guy by the name of Manoj Diaz. He has this app called Open, and I started listening to some meditations and breath work. As far as like the physical, I go to the gym. Try to work out and stay in shape. The mental and emotional part, I guess, being honest and open and truthful about where I am. Like I don't hold a lot of stuff in these days.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't go around vomiting my emotions.
Yeah.
But
you speak your truth.
I speak my truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like,
it's uncomfortable, but you got to do it.
Where, I'm gonna say it. That's true. If it's true to me, I'm gonna say it.
You showing up more authentic. As you should.
You know what I mean? And that feels healthy to me.
It is.
It's like, I can't sit there and sugarcoat it just because you might feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gotta share what's really on my mind. And the financial part, we're rebounding from some things, and I found a little bit of stability in my daily practice of getting up, going and training clients, and doing that at a facility that pays me for my worth. And
nice.
I'm going to build from there and grow into what I see myself as. Millions and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's happening.
I love that you and your partner do, like, y'all have a routine that y'all do in the morning together, like, and that's a part of the spiritual, the mental growth. And I think that things like that help connect us, especially as Black men and Black women in today's age and time, where people are just not really giving to each other or sticking around to cultivate these type of bonds and these relationships. And it's so easy. It seems so easy because everything is just out here on the platform, and it's like, oh, I can just go get that. And it seems like everything is so accessible, but real connection, real genuine relationships, or you have that passion and you can sit together in the seasons where it's not so pretty, and like, how are we gonna get through this? What are we gonna do? How are we growing each other? That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's been really interesting being back in Atlanta because previously last year, year and a half, 2 years ago, I was engaged. Right? And then when I got back here to Atlanta, I wasn't expecting to meet anybody, but I ended up, meeting a beautiful young lady, and a lot of the things that I probably struggled with in my engagement, I've been able to see how I can improve on them, and I've been able to employ a different approach.
So you took the mirror. You took the mirror and you did what you had to do.
I've seen like a lot of my shortcomings, but then I've also seen a lot of things that I'm really good at. I'm like, all right, well, cool, and I've given them over to the relationship, and I think Dawn has definitely grown.
Yeah.
And she's grown a lot individually, independent of me.
Yeah.
So I think we're both willing to show up for each other and do the work and show up for ourselves. And do the
That's
work.
the key.
That's been a good thing.
Yeah, I think that you just said, like, you hit the nail on the head. We're both willing to show up for each other. And I think that if more people were willing to show up for each other in spite of whatever is going on, if you have this underlying connection, in last episode we talked about how values, Kyrie and I talked about how values are, they should be the foundation. Like, should you connect on character or values? And it's like, I'm going to choose values all day because character, that's fine. But if we don't have the same underlying values, we're not going to make it. That's the foundation. So if you have something like that and then you're willing to work and grow together, I think that's big. And more people, more of us just need to show up in that way. And I think that's why we're here today. That's really what I want to.
And something I want to speak to also is like being at a point where once you get to the point where like you realize, hey, I'm gonna live in my truth. I'm gonna present not my avatar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna present myself, my true self, up front.
Mm-hmm.
That other person gets the opportunity to decide whether or not they want to participate in life with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at any point, like she can decide that she doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I can decide if I don't want to.
Yeah.
But as long as we're authentic, as long as we're truthful, you know, I think that's a value add, that's a healthy way to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not nobody playing games with each other and doing all that weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just like that version of myself.
Yeah.
I love that version of myself.
You being true to yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, because anytime you're operating from a place that's not from your soul, from your inner, like you're not going to be happy, you're not going to be fulfilled. And I think a lot of people are chasing ego, and they're chasing things that they think that people want to see, like the money, the cars, like all of that stuff, all of this external validation that people are seeking, and it's like they're never fulfilled. It's like you're constantly chasing and chasing. It's like the hamster on the wheel, right? And you're just never able to catch it because you haven't found it within yourself. So I think when you're operating from that place of authenticity and you feel that wholeness within, and that was a big conversation when we did Sunday dinner, and I was like, I feel whole, and they're like, how are you whole? It was like a big thing, and I'm like, you can't tell me, like, I feel whole within, and that's me. Like, I don't need anybody to validate me. I don't need to go out and chase love or feel like I have to do anything to receive anything, because I've done the work to find it within myself. And now I know when I show up in a relationship, or within any relationship for that matter, I'm coming from that place of authenticity, and I know, like, this is who I am, and I'm unapologetic about it because I don't need anything from anybody. Everything is just kind of like, all right, you're going to add to the situation because I'm good with me. And last episode I talked about just having, like, when you're in a relationship and people, it's your time. Sometimes the time is up. And if it's up, it's like, okay, clearly marked exits. We're not holding on to things that don't want to be held on to. And we should respect each other's autonomy enough to be like, hey, if this is no longer what you want or what you need, or you feel like I'm not giving it to you, you are free to go. And I can still love you, and I can still wish you well, and we'll always be in that place. But people get so bitter and they get so bent out of shape about people deciding, like, this no longer works for my life. And it's like, no, like, we're all humans who have free will. Like, our souls need that expression. So at any point this no longer works, or we choose that we're going to stick it out, that's our choice, and we should both choose that, not from a place of attachment or from need or from lack. It should always come from that feeling of that wholeness and that authenticity within. All right. How has healing transformed your relationships with yourself, your family, and others? And to add to that, I want you to tell me what are the things that you did to heal. That's important.
One of the most important ones I want to talk about for me and maybe for other men is the relationship with my mom. Recently, my grandmother passed away, right?
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that.
Thank you. And my mom, I hung out with my mom the night after, 2 nights after. Mm-hmm. And it was my brother was there, everybody was there, my siblings were there. And my mom and my brother and my sisters, they didn't come to the funeral, or they didn't go to, like, the setting up or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that was going to impact me. Mm-hmm. It didn't just, like, make me all fucked up, right? But I still took note of it. And I felt myself holding on to a little bit of some mixed emotions with it. So instead of sitting with that and like trying to hold on to it, I immediately got on the phone. We got back to Atlanta. I got on the phone and I called my brother and my sister and I told them how I felt. I was like, yo, y'all should have shown up for me. I would appreciate it if y'all had shown up for me. And I called my mom yesterday and she didn't pick up the phone. My mom's horrible with picking up the phone. And that used to like crush me. Right? It doesn't now. Like it doesn't. But how I got to the point of being able to communicate with them and love them for who they are, how they are, I forgave them because I did it with my mom in particular by way of writing her notes. I wrote her a few letters.
Did you give them to her?
I mailed them to her.
Okay.
Yeah. I never got a response back.
Okay. But you sent it.
I sent it.
Okay.
Right? And I did that back, this was like 2013, 2014, where there was so much stuff. Like me and my mom, I used to like had this weird, oh my God, I had very strong feelings towards her that were negative that I was harboring because my mom missed a lot of key moments when I was growing up, right? My grandparents raised me, then I moved with my dad, and then my stepmom, she stepped in and she did a phenomenal job. But with my mom in particular, I felt like, yo, my mom missed a lot of key moments that she should have been there for, that she could have been there for. But as I got older, I started to see my mom not as my mom. I started to see her as a human. And I started to look at the scenario. Like I really just simplified it after I wrote the notes and stuff back in 2014 and sent them to her and said all the stuff I needed to say and bent it, sent them to her, boom, I released that. Evolved, right? I evolved later on to just look at her as a person.
Yep.
My mom had me when she was 15. I was her second child. She had my sister when she was 13. She had my other sister when she was 18, I think, and my brother when she was 20. So she had 4 kids. Her dad died when she was 13. So like she was the oldest of 4 siblings, 5. Yeah, 5. So I looked at it, I'm like, damn. My mom had all of that going on.
As a teenager.
And I'm looking at myself at the time, I'm like 30. I'm looking at it like this, at probably like 30. Right? Yeah. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I ain't got no kids. I ain't got none of these things that my mom had going on. And I forgave her. Like,
yeah.
You're really a great person.
Man.
You're really amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at what you have come through. And to do as good as you did with us, I probably would've, there are people that would've ended it for less.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? There are people who would have been strung out on drugs or whatever. Right? There are people that would have been messed up completely from that type of scenario, right? But she didn't. So there's an admiration and love that I have for her. Like, I admire your strength. I admire your tenacity. Yeah. So I give that over to her, you know, and I just look at her as a human who's beautifully flawed and who's made it through a lot. You know, so that's helped me.
Let me ask you this while you're talking about that. When you decided to forgive her, did you notice anything shift in you or in your life?
Good question. Yeah. My capacity to love. Like, man, look, I remember, and to give, right? I remember when I became aware of the imbalance in how I showed up for my mom and my siblings and how I feel that they showed up for me. Yeah. Right? I remember, because I used to get everything for Christmas, right? It's almost Christmas time. I used to get everything for Christmas. And JCPenney's and who else? It was JCPenney's and somebody used to have these catalogs. Remember the catalogs? They used to have these catalogs. And I would go through and I would circle all the things I wanted for myself, all the things I wanted for all my siblings, my mom, and my uncles, and my grandparents would get it. You know what I mean? And I remember giving to them, and then I wouldn't get a gift back. And I remember it like crushed me. And I'm like, dang, y'all think I want something from y'all? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was probably like 11 or so when I became aware of that. So I stopped giving, and I started being kind of like avoidant. I wouldn't go around my mom or around my siblings in a certain sense because I felt like, or I would limit the time that I would be there because I felt like at some point the question was going to be, asking me, can I have something? And that shifted me. That made me kind of not. I robbed us of a lot of moments. Like I kept certain things from. I didn't share.
Yeah.
And I realized like that was hurting me. It was hurting us.
Yeah.
And I think I became aware of how it was impacting me in relationship by way of how I would answer certain questions. And I still do it. I catch myself when I do it now. I'm like,
that awareness though, you're aware of it now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally, you could probably ask her. Ask her. I'll be like, what? And I'll catch myself like, why am I asking her what?
Yeah. And
I'm asking her what, embracing myself for her to ask something of me. And I'm like,
that's that wound still being triggered.
Yeah, and I have to get myself out of that and be like,
but you're doing great because you have the awareness. Awareness is the first step to healing. So as long as you're aware of how you're showing up.
But I sometimes after I catch myself, I'll lean into the love. I'm like, I don't want to deny anybody of like the goodness that I have.
Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah, let me
open it up.
So that's how it impacted me.
Yeah. But you're working. But the beautiful thing that you said is that you're aware of it and you're working on it. So just kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, like I believe a lot of Black men have the mother wound, right? Especially when we have stories like ours, because our stories parallel in regards to like my mom was 15 when she had my brother, 19 when she had me, and then my brother and sister were not too far after that. And when you have a parent that's that young, they lose their whole childhood. It's like they're still a child themselves trying to raise children. And we can look at the situations that happen, whereas like, okay, I didn't get shown this type of love, or I didn't feel this growing up as a child. And then it's like, but wait a minute. My parent was a child themselves. Like, what did they have to go through? What type of love or lack of love did they have to receive to even make the decisions that they made? So when we start looking at it from an empathetic lens, which is tapping into that feminine side, which you allowed yourself to do, right? When you start looking at it from that perspective, it's like, now you have empathy. Now I can see you as a human, not just like my parent, not as my mother, my father, my grandmother. I'm looking at you as a human. And I feel empathy for you because I can only imagine what you had to go through to show up the way that you had to show up. So now all I can do is just open my heart up and give you love. But when we don't have that, when we don't forgive, like if I never forgave my mom, then I probably would have still kind of been distorted, like a wounded feminine. And you know what I mean? And whereas if you would have never forgiven your mom, you still might be operating from that pain. And even though when we have these wounds that come up, we address them, we try to heal them, but it's a constant. It's not linear. Healing is not linear. It's a constant, it's coming up again. But now that we're aware of it, so it's like, okay, I can see. Now I gotta.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Something just came up for me when you were saying that. Like, how my heart was wounded when I was younger and before I knew better. I knew that I could get. First of all, there was no shortage of love because my grandmother, my mom, stepmom, several, like my auntie, I had love from a lot of people. So when I was able to look at it and say, oh, I have love, I was able to move past certain things. But I was saying like how I chose to show up specifically in relationship and how I gave of my heart, it was a give take. Right, so I would give to a certain degree, and when I got to the point of the threat of being hurt, take it away.
Oh,
right. So it was like,
so it wasn't unconditional love.
It wasn't unconditional. It was like, nah, I'm not gonna let you love me to that point. So I couldn't even receive it fully from somebody, or I had to create a scenario where I could perceive love through multiple outlets. So I would have to get love from here, give you a part of my love, get you addicted to getting that part of my love, take it away, or go give part of it over here. So you were just, and part of it over here. Because my programming was that of, I get love from my grandma. I get love from my mom. I get love from my auntie. I get love from my stepmom. Right? So I'm getting love from multiple women. So it was hard for me to receive fully the love from one person.
Okay. So now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
So I had to create, regardless of if I got a person who loves the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I couldn't have that.
You couldn't receive it.
I couldn't receive it. I had to create a scenario. After a while, I would have to create a scenario where I have to get it from
somebody else.
Sources to feel that wound or that void.
Yeah.
So I had to go in and do a lot of personal work to validate myself, to affirm myself, and to see where my value came from. Other than, like, when I said they wanted something from me. Right? I had to figure out what that was. You know what I mean? I felt validated when I could give to the woman. When I couldn't give and she had to see my ugly and all that other shit.
You ran?
I ran. You can't see all that. You can't, you know what I mean? So now I'm gonna self-sabotage, I'm gonna do some shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do all of this.
Okay.
Or something to disrupt, you know? And that was me from probably 16 when I first really started dating. From 16 to about 30.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that is like, I'm just kind of tying in. I'm listening to you talk, and then I'm thinking about some things that I read just in things that I've observed, even just dating, right? Where a lot of men who have that mother wound, have the receiving wound where they can't fully open up and receive love. And if they do feel like somebody is loving them like beyond their capacity to receive, they retreat, they run, they're avoidant, and they don't know how to receive it. So then they go because they don't feel worthy, right? They don't feel worthy of the love that they're receiving from someone. So they go and try to get it from other sources and still end up not feeling fulfilled. To give the surface level of validation, right? Because as soon as it gets too deep, then it's like, oh no, this is too much. I need to go back.
Where the other stuff
yeah, because now you get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh,
my good, my bad, my ugly. This is crushing.
Yeah, and I noticed too. It's like when you do show up for someone, and I'm speaking from experience at this point. Like I could come in and I can love you and love your good, your bad. But when I start seeing all of it, and then you notice that I see all of it, now it's like, oh, I can't let her see this. I have to run. Let me go sabotage, like you said. Yeah. And it's insane because it's tell as old as time. The stories are the same. They're the exact same.
So big.
And I was watching something, and the guy was saying that he was telling a guy, I think it was another podcast, and he was telling the guy, like, you are operating from the little boy within you. You're a man and you're operating from the little boy in you that's not healed. And as long as you continue to operate from the little boy in you and not from the man in you, you're going to keep recreating these same situations until that little boy is given the love that he needed. And oftentimes it's like you can think about going back and, okay, my mom did this or my dad did this or they weren't there or I didn't get this. But you can't go back and change that story. But what you can do is you can go in and you can sit with yourself, like you said, and you can work on reparenting that inner child within you, right? But we see this dynamic all in dating right now, right? Where men are dating multiple women and they're going out and they might have somebody who loves them and who's giving them everything, or they might find exactly what they want and then they sabotage it because they're uncomfortable being themselves or accepting that authenticity, right?
So one of the things that I realized that I wanted most from my mom, I wanted correction from my mom. Not approval, not any of that. I wanted correction. I wanted to know that she cared enough about me to protect me from the ills of the society that we grew up in, right? The environment. My mom never told me, don't do this or don't do that. I was able to do whatever. I was able to go drink, smoke, have sex, hustle, shoot guns, do whatever in the environment. It was a wild environment that I grew up in.
Wow. Okay.
And my mom never said, son, stay away from that. So I process that as there's no safety here. There's no, like, there's, it's whatever can happen. You know what I mean? So, and this is happening in real time, I'm processing it. So as that, when I sought that, right? So when that wasn't there, and I didn't feel safe in scenarios, right, relationships, I would run. I didn't become aware of that until one day in Los Angeles, where I'm knee deep in an engagement. Things aren't going well. The person that I'm with, she was trying to love me. She was loving me hard though, and she was trying to protect me. And I said, nah, and I ran. I literally left the house, and I went to an Airbnb. I checked into this Airbnb, and I turned to all the things that, since the youth, that I turned to for fulfillment.
Distractions.
All the distractions.
Going to distract.
Right? I had my drink, I had my smoke, and I had lust. Right? And I went into the Airbnb, and I would drink, and I'd smoke, and I'd go out, and I would, look at people that I was interested in. And in 4 days, I managed to vice myself to sickness. I felt like I probably had COVID or something during that time. I got real sick. And anytime I would go into that shadow behavior, I would look in the mirror and I would secretly hate myself. Anytime I did it, whether that was me drinking, me smoking, or me going to like strip clubs and lusting and creating these scenarios with women and stuff, I would look in the mirror and I would hate myself. I would not like the man that I saw reflecting back to me. When I smoke, my lips would get real dark, right? When I drink, my eyes get yellow. When I lust, I get like my hair and shit, like isn't as shiny, and you know what I'm saying? Like certain things I can see within myself. I see my spirit, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't like that guy that I would see reflecting back to me. And that day when I went to the Airbnb and I viced myself to sickness, after I checked out, I was like, nah, I'm good on it.
So that was your catalyst. So the relationship, I mean, I feel like, and I've talked about this before, how relationships are our catalyst to healing. Like the real tough relationships that really get us to see ourselves, those are the relationships that really define, but because they make us find our way back to ourselves, right? Who we truly are, our souls, Not all of this external stuff, not the labels like you discussed, like who we are authentically. But it happens by way of pain. It happens by the way of looking in that mirror. And like you said, I don't like what I see. So now I'm either going to change this and I'm going to do what I got to do to heal, or I'm about to crash the fuck out.
Crash out. And look, I'm telling you, it got so dark. There was certain nights where it was like, I'm literally about to crash out.
Damn.
I'm about to hurt somebody. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to hurt somebody. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And so it got to that point. And
man.
Really, it was like the whole thing had to crumble. You had to crumble. You had to break down. You had to become a shell of yourself to really go back to your raw ingredients.
Yeah.
To your core. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And through that, I was able to do a lot of healing.
Yeah.
And I think that work is showing up for me now.
Oh, man, yeah. I feel like, okay, this is just first of all, I'm an empath. So I can feel everything. And just listening to you talk, like my body is hot. Like I told you, like I'm high vibration this whole time because I just know this is the conversation that needs to be had. But just listening to you explain what you had to go through, and I can see, it's like I see the face of every Black man on your face right now, just the story, you know what I mean? And I just think about how many Black men out there have not done what they needed to do after they had that look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And my heart just like, ugh. Because I want to send healing. I want to send that love. And I just want to send that. It's just like, I feel so much empathy and I love Black men. It's like, y'all are kings. And I need like y'all to look at yourselves and know that I am a king. And everything that the world has tried to tell you that you are by way of fear is just not true. It's not true. And it's like, I feel like as a Black woman, and it's like, I feel for the collective of Black men. You know what I mean? I feel like when I look into the eyes of my son, my friends, my father, just in anybody I'm just looking and I'm like, damn, I want you to know how great you are, like what you can be, like what you can do. Just deal with what you have to deal with and go heal whatever you need to heal. But it has to be these type of places and it has to be these type of situations and us getting to this place where you're comfortable. And I think a lot of times Black men aren't comfortable expressing these type of emotions or feelings or telling you, like, I can't sit here and tell you my truth because you might judge me or you might look at me different or you might think I'm soft. All the things that the world tried to tell you that you couldn't be, or like if you do this and oh, you can't cry because that makes you weak. You know, all these things, all these paradigms that society has tried to project upon Black men so you won't be fully authentically yourselves. And man, when I tell you, if you just believed, if you guys just knew, like, once I do this, the power that I step into, that's what they scared of. They don't want you to step into your power. They don't want you to know that you're kings. They don't want you to know that you're God within. They don't want you to know that, because the power that comes from that, the power that comes from healing, just being authentic, oh my God, shake the world. I mean, we already shake, but shake the world. You know what I mean? Consciously.
Yeah, that's even more powerful, right?
That's what we're awakening right now.
Doing this.
Yes. From a place of knowing that I am, right? Yeah. Damn. I was about to cry for a second. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was over here, my eyes was welling up, my heart feeling like, I'm like, yeah, I just damn. Okay, I mean, let's look. I think we only did one question. we just going deep over here, and it's like, man, I think we kind of touched on this a tad bit. But what significance does the family unit hold in the Black community, and how can it be fortified? Everything, right? Yeah.
Just spent Thanksgiving with my family, and it was beautiful. It was under some unusual circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, my grandma's passing. But the beautiful thing about that experience was seeing, like, throughout my life, what I was unaware of is how the family was captured, right? So like my grandma, she captured photos. We're doing this video, right? My grandma captured photos of everything.
Okay. My grandma did the same thing too.
Like everything, you know what I mean? My granddad captured videos. And our home that I'm gonna add to, we're gonna build an estate. Our home was the meeting place for our family during big holidays and like important events. So like I just inherited that. I grew up in that, and I didn't know like that's what it was until I was able to step out of it and then miss it for a while and I step back in. But during the holidays, we all were sitting down. I remember looking, and you had family in the living room, you had family in the kitchen, you had family like in the other living room. Everybody's looking at these photo albums. And it's literally photo albums stemming all the way back from like 1959
yes.
or something.
Yes.
69. No, it was like 59.
Yeah.
To now. You know what I mean? Like my grandma took photos of everything. And to see just how important family is and was to her and is to us, it was like, yo, this is really, like, we gotta get back to that. And then it don't mean just get married and stuff like that, but just your family. We got family here, we're not connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got people in Atlanta that are family and we don't talk to them.
It's crazy.
Pull up on them.
Why has that changed? Why do you think that's changed?
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's really strange to think. But I come from a family where, like, we got problems and stuff like that, but we spend time with each other every day. You know what I mean? We're together in Carolina. Like here, me and my dad and my mom and my sister are kind of like, in our own little enclave. But in South Carolina, it's everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You do things with family in mind.
Yeah.
You create with family in mind. This is why, like, for me to build the house, I want to build a house. I ain't even got to live in it.
Right.
But I want to know that my family can go and experience things together in that that structure, that community structure. I think family was rooted in community. Now we're thinking about like, oh, we got family outside of our family. It's my adopted family.
And you got cousins. They ain't really your cousins, but they your cousins. Yeah.
In your own family, you ain't even talking to.
Man, listen.
You know, check up on your people.
Yeah.
If they're alive and they're well, if they're alive, check up on them. You know.
Yeah, and so this is interesting that you say that, because I was literally just having, with the holiday season upon us, right? I was having a conversation, I think with my grandma or somebody, and I'm just looking at it like it's not the same anymore. Like just how you described, like how your family would be all in once people would be in the kitchen, you got your aunties, you got the kids in another room playing. It's not like that anymore. And I don't know, and I would hope and pray that our generation is not the last generation that got to experience the big families, the community, the holidays where we all get together and we see each other and we laugh and we have, embrace and celebrate the memories and everything. But I don't know, it's different now.
It has to be a conscious design though. Because we know that exists, we actually have to design that. We can't like play with it and say, because society as a whole is taught individualism, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's more imperative now than ever to say, all right, we're going to consciously build into our schedule.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to build it in. You know what I mean? We're going to go and do family outings. We're going to go do family vacations. We're going to actually do.
We're going to put the effort in.
Reunions. You have to consciously do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not one of those things that, you play with. And I think because that generation, my grandparents' generation, they didn't have social media and all that stuff. And the things that you can distract yourself with as far as like, oh, I can have that.
And so it's also, this right here, right now. I think too, like without, like social media makes you feel like you see people all the time that you probably ain't seen in physical reality in like years. And it just happened for me. I saw something. I'm like, damn, I just realized I ain't seen you in how long? But social media would make you feel like that. But then also I was thinking too, because I did Thanksgiving here. It was just me and the kids, and my homegirl came over. And that's not my normal. But it's like ever since my mom passed, it's like you have these key people in your family. You don't really realize the roles that they play until they're no longer here. Like they're these connectors, right? So my great grandmother was the last great connector where everybody was together. So we would have an event, we would have those big Thanksgivings and Christmases, and everybody would be together, distant cousins, and it would be like that. But when she passed, then you would see the things start breaking up. Now everybody's kind of going off with their individual families, right? And then in my personal experience, when my mom passed, like it used to be my mom, my grandmother, my siblings, my aunts, uncles. But when she passed, that stopped. So now it's like it keeps breaking up.
It stop.
Well, it didn't stop, but it break, like it's like these pieces, these connectors, right? And these connectors bring everybody together. So you have that one person that everybody gravitates towards, and that was my great grandmother, right? And then when she's gone, now everybody's kind of going into their collective families, like my aunties, my great aunties and uncles and stuff. And then when my mom passed, because she was another great connector, my brother, my siblings and stuff they would come together, my grandmother, aunts, uncles. So we had that, but then it's like after she passed, it broke up. And I know it probably did, and it's just we're not consciously doing it.
What was so funny about my grandma being at my grandma's funeral, one of the most revealing moments was when the final viewing, everybody was going by. That's when I became more of me. Everybody was going by. I'm watching her. We stepped up. We looked at her. Saw the body. She's there, cold, beautiful. Cold. And I stood by the pastor and the bishop. And I just remember just standing there. And I wanted to watch everybody go past and interview her. My dad had passed by yet, my aunt had passed by. My aunt had faints. We had to catch her. My dad had to come to grips with his denial. He broke down. My granddad had to reckon with losing his partner in 58 years. And I watched all of them go by, and I felt so powerful and so strong. And in that moment, life's made sense to me. I was like, oh, I've moved into a different position in my family. It's my responsibility to ensure that, like my grandma, my family comes together. So I don't think it stopped.
Yeah.
We just haven't assumed the role. We're still looking at ourselves as
the kids.
You're not the kid anymore.
Yeah.
You're the person your mom was.
Damn.
You just never assumed that role.
Yeah.
You're in that position now. Your nieces and nephews, they're you looking up at you.
I feel that too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that.
My nieces and my nephews, they're looking at me like I was looking at my granddad and my dad and my mom and all of them. Like, oh, that's what are they doing? Oh, my cousins running around. I'm sitting around looking at my little cousins running around. I was like, oh, that was me.
Yeah. So it's up to us to have the intentionality. Yeah.
It's absolutely your responsibility. So
that makes sense.
Your holidays got to be like, nah, who my cousins? Where they at?
Yeah.
Bring your people.
Pull up.
We here.
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
So we just got to be intentional about keeping the family together. So to staying on family, kind of going like moving away from that specific topic, but staying on family. When we look back, you say your grandparents are married for 58 years, right?
53,
And 53?
My granddad would say 52, 6. He's working all the way down. 52 years, something. In 30 minutes.
He breaks. I love that.
Together for 58 years.
I love that. Okay. But if we look back, a lot of our grandparents' stories were like that. Like they stayed together. And I think, now we're kind of looking at it and it's like, what was the difference then? Because they stuck together. Give me some water. I need some water. I'm over here sucking up saliva.
I ain't gonna tell all they business. But my granddad told me some stuff. The night after my grandma passed, we sat down and we stayed up like 2 o'clock in the morning. He told us it wasn't no different.
Right.
Than us.
No. They just didn't give up on it. Okay.
They had shit going on. They just didn't give up on each other. That's it. They just didn't give up on each other. They stayed showing up. I think we're so quick to be like, nope, swipe left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not even giving it a chance.
More shit going on. Because guess what? They couldn't put it on social media. They could get away with more. They had more stuff. Now everybody got camera. We got to sneak and do all kinds of weird shit. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Just as much going on. But at their core, they decided that they were going to show up for each other for a very long time. Yeah. And they were consistent. And they just showed up.
They just showed up for each other.
They put in work. They went through the same struggles. They had less.
Yeah. I think now, just looking, even with social media being so big and you see, even if I go to my Explorer page right now, I probably see a whole lot of people like, yeah, if they doing X, Y, Z, leave them. Don't answer the phone. Don't do this. Then it's just like everybody is just like, quick, get your ass out of their society. Listen, everybody's experts. And this is what I was thinking about, just kind of looking at it. And I was like, where's the grace? And we talked about this on Sunday dinner. And I was like, oh, I don't expect somebody to be perfect, and I'll take somebody back. No, if they're sorry, and if we're gonna work it out, and they're like, oh, well, you should have. You remember the conversation? It got pretty heated. But it's like, where is the grace, right? I think that nope, we're not perfect. None of us are, and we're all dealing with our own internal battles. As Black men, as Black women, we're all dealing with our shit, right? And when we meet somebody, and it's like, okay, we have enough connection. We have enough of this to kind of glue us together. But we would be naive to think that something's not going to come up, that one of us is not going to like. We're not just going to. Something's always going to happen, right? And so then it's also like, how much space are you holding for somebody in their healing season too? Because just like you said, you were in that space where you were kind of, on your way to crashing out and you had to realize some things. Had that situation worked out, and I don't know what happened after. Obviously, you're not engaged anymore. You have a new beautiful woman. But had it been the opposite, and let's say you guys did stick it out, and let's say she did hold the space for you, if that was supposed to be your person, like if we can hold space for our counterparts, Like, no, you're not gonna, we still have to have boundaries. Like, you can't just treat me any type of way, but I also see you. Not this facade, but I see you. Like, I see you, I see your heart, I see who you are authentically. I see your scars, and I'm gonna love you through that, right? And I'm gonna hold space for you to heal. But as long as you're willing to show up with me there. Now, if you're not willing to stand in the ring with me, I can't really do anything. Like, I can love you, like I can love you and let you go. And I just said something the other day where it's like, I can love somebody enough to let them go be who they want to be, right? And I don't have to dislike you. I don't have to feel any type of way because we're no longer together or we're apart or we decided like this doesn't work or however, whatever have you. But had you shown up and said, hey, I want to stick this out with you. I want to work this out with you. And this is where I am. And this is my truth right now. I'm dealing with some shit. And this is what I got to do. If we can hold space for each other in those moments, like we're going to respect each other. We're going to hold that space. We're going to keep each other accountable. But we're not just going to leave each other when it gets hard or because somebody has an indiscretion, right? And it's not to say like, I'm going to give you this pass and just so you think that you can do it. No, that's coming from a place of love. And I think that's where guys or people in general fuck it up. They think, oh, because I forgave you, this is a pass that I can go do it again. No, I forgave you because I have enough grace and love in my heart for you to love you past your indiscretions, right? But if we can't do that for each other now, then we'll never have those relationships that last 40 to 50, 60 years and have somebody to grow old with because we don't know how to hold space for each other and we don't know how to look at each other in the face and tell each other what's real. Like, this is who I am. Real, rap, raw. Like, this is who I am. Can you love me through this? Can you support me through this? Can you hold the space that I need? Can you be here when I fall short? Can I trust you? Can I feel safe? Can I feel secure enough with you? You know what I mean? And I think that if and when we as a collective can have those relationships and have those conversations and stop putting it out there to be everybody's business and taking everybody's advice, listen to yourself, listen to your soul. You know what I mean? If there's real love there, why not?
Yeah. And I think, man, for me, as far as that particular relationship goes, any relationship moving forward, I think it's good to be honest about like where you are and to be able to recognize what work you've done and haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of work that I hadn't done that was prerequisites to the decision, the big decision that I made.
Yeah.
Right? Because we were talking earlier about like having kids and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the same type of thing. There are prerequisites
Mm-hmm.
that you need to check off before you go to make these huge decisions.
Life-changing decisions. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize, I didn't know what I didn't know until I fucking knew it. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? I didn't go deal with that.
We often don't.
We often don't. And I think, it's really cool to know, like, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to do my work. And if it is meant for you to be with somebody, hopefully it can return to wherever you want it to be, if that's the case. But I think it's very important for you to know like what are the prerequisites to
Yeah.
where you say you want to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hold grace and space for each other to explore that and to be honest with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, shit. I should have gotten engaged.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the truth you know now.
I should have gotten engaged. I was probably a year and a half off from being engaged.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I should have laid my foundation, gotten myself together, make sure I was together and I was self-sufficient and I was able to bring someone into the kingdom. Yeah,
exactly. Right? That makes sense.
And within me getting myself together, I probably would have did a lot of the, I would have to do a lot of the personal work. I would have to confront some of my demons.
So kind of piggybacking off of that, I talked in my last episode about relationships being a part of our soul's journey to discovery, to true self-discovery, right? And how each relationship that really means something to us kind of catalyzes that growth for us, right? So when you say that you had to sit with your demons or deal with your demons or your shadows, I like shadows. I don't want to say demons. We're going to say shadows. So when you had to go in and deal with your shadow, for those who don't know, your shadow is the dark part of yourself that you don't want to observe. You can call them demons, I guess, but I'm gonna call it a shadow on here. The darkness. It's the darkness. When you had to deal with your darkness. I know you said the last part, you said you looked in the mirror, you said I can no longer be this person. But how long did it take you to move away from that person that you thought you were to the person that was in full acceptance of the man that you truly are behind, past the shadows, past the darkness?
That was that was a little over 2 years ago. So it's taking me that long.
Okay, so wait.
That was 2022.
2022? Yeah. And it's 2024, so not that long. On the grand scheme of things.
But I think I was fighting with that person for 2 years before that.
Yeah.
Right? Like where I became aware. And there was a key relationship that I want to mention that helped me to see some things that was really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was a young lady that made me rethink my script. Mm-hmm. Right? We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
I had the script.
Yeah.
I get married, want to have 3 kids.
Yeah.
That's going to be that. No matter what woman was playing into that script, you were character B. Right? Mm-hmm. You had to play into this, right? You're number 2 on the list. For real, that was the thing.
So you were.
And then they were like, she was like, hey, if you want to do this relationship, we can have fun, we can travel, but we can't do this thing right here. We can't have kids. Mm-hmm. I don't want kids. She was so clear on that. I was like, oh shit, you don't want kids. And for the first time ever, I had to look at somebody and say, oh, I have to like you, love you, and get to know you, all the while knowing I can't fulfill my script. The thing that I said that I want. So in that relationship, I had to look at the person and start to realize, like, oh, what do you like in a person? What do you not like in a person? What do you like about yourself that's being revealed through this person?
You move the fantasy.
For the first time I looked at it, I was like, what if I don't have kids?
Yeah. Would life be okay?
Would life be okay?
Would I be okay? Would I still be able to be me?
You know, and that one thing in particular changed the way I looked at relationship. I was like, oh, I gotta fuck with the person.
Yeah, I remember you told me this. That shit was like, you know what?
I gotta mess with the person.
Yeah.
If I don't mess with the person, because that's gonna be the one that's there, whether the kids are there or not. You had the kids grow up, they go off. You gonna still have to deal with that person, like my grandparents. They still had to deal with each other when they grew all their kids.
Yeah. But we still gonna have to be like, I still gotta sit here with you raw. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That gave me the courage, I think, to start to look at the things about myself that I didn't bang with.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, what's the real work that I have to do?
I like that you said that too, because I love that scripting thing, because it's like when we have our scripts, right? And we meet people and we put them like, oh, they're checking this box. So we mentally go through these things. And it's like now unconsciously we're putting expectations on people without their consent. And then we get disappointed when they don't fulfill and they don't live up to the projection that we have in our head or the fantasy what they should be doing.
I'm like, I'm not that person for you. If you want me to be that person, or I am that person for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, tell me what's going on in your head.
So I know. So I can see if I want to even partake. I said something like, if I can look at a table and I see I can't really bring anything to it, it's okay, cool. I'm gonna have to get up and go because it doesn't make sense. But I think that the realization that you came to and the freedom of choosing somebody just for who they are, not for some type of prophecy that you want to see fulfilled in your life, like just who you are, and like, dang, can we gel? Like, okay, do I really want what I said that I want as much as I want it? Do I really want that? And then why do I want that? So when you start having those conversations, it's like, oh, I can be real with myself. Damn, maybe I don't want these things. Maybe I only wanted it because I felt like this is what they said I was supposed to have. Is this what my soul really wants? Do I really? You know what I mean?
You know why I wanted that? You know why I wanted that?
Why? Why?
Because that's what I thought my childhood should have been.
So you're projecting from
that's what I wanted. My 5-year-old wanted to have my mom and dad be married and have 2 siblings.
And the white picket fence and a dog.
And all the things. So that was what I was looking to fulfill.
Yeah.
And then when I got over there, I was like, no, my life is what it is. My script was what it was.
Your script is
These people did what they did. This is the consequence.
Yep.
We're here.
This is where we are.
Now, what I can do is take responsibility for what I'm creating, moving forward from a truthful standpoint. Like, what's my truth? What's the honest? In my honest opinion, what is it that I want to do?
Right. You know, I was reading something. It was just like we create our own suffering, like in our minds, right? So from that whole point of view where you're projecting this out, and it's like you're creating your own suffering because now you are living in some type of future that is not fulfilled because it's not even here now. So we are denying ourselves and denying our power and divinity when we are trying to fulfill or create something that's outside of our present moment, right? Because we are who we're meant to be right here, right now. And at any given moment, this is where we're creating. So if you can't accept your life experience or your life situation in the moment, then it's like you're either living in the past or you're projecting to the future. Like, what's so wrong with the right now moment, right? If I can't accept you as you are right here and right now, then obviously like that's a me thing, right? So I need to deal with that. So yeah. I love this. I feel like we're going way deep into it. I'm loving where we're going. I want to get more questions because I have like this whole list. I don't even know. We're probably gonna get like oh yes. So I want to see, let's see. How can Black men redefine masculinity to align with authenticity and holistic well-being?
How can Black men redefine masculinity to realign with?
Hold on, let me go back. How can Black men redefine masculinity to align with authenticity and holistic well-being? Because we see a lot of guys now, especially on social media, where it's like, oh, chase me. I'm like, it's a lot of, I'm the prize. I mean, you're the prize in your own right. You are the prize, but we're all the prize. Like, nobody is like, come on now. We're the prize when we choose. But how do you redefine that masculinity? How can Black men step back into that protector, that power? Because we don't, the way it's showing up now, or the way it's translating is, how can I trust you to be my protector, the provider, the head of house? Like, how can I feel safe within your arms if you are looking for those things? If you're looking within me, but from the masculine perspective, because if you want a feminine woman, then I have to be feminine. I have to show up nurturing. I have to be empathetic. I have to be, intuitive and compassionate and all these things that you have within you, but they're not as predominant, right? They're not as prominent.
I don't know the answer to that for all men.
Yeah. But for you.
Yeah, for me, like, for you. I don't know what all Black men need to do. Lord, pray, Jesus.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I just think, I just think we just need to be real with ourselves about like who we are at our core, right? Mm-hmm. I talk about, like, every day I get up and I feel like I can conquer the world. Mm. Then some days I feel like the world's on my shoulders. Mm-hmm. Then some days I feel like I want the support of a woman. I go through a range of emotions. Some days I feel like I want to go out and conquer people. Right? I do. I feel that wolf. Yeah. And I'm able to, and I use that energy, that masculine energy, to go out and achieve things. Mm-hmm. Right? So I think we need to stop being afraid of being ourselves. Mm-hmm. We don't need to redefine it to where it fits these new social norms. Mm-hmm. Like, you were designed a certain way. Mm-hmm. Honor it. Mm-hmm. God made it how God made it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if I tap into that thing that I didn't design, right, I think we're too manipulative these days. We're trying to, I need to make it like this and make it like that. Nah. We're trying to do. I know intuitively. Mm-hmm. That's your feminine. What feels right, right? Yeah. I know, I feel good when I go out and I can provide certain things. I feel good when I go out and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna go secure some food. You know what I'm saying? That makes me feel good. I feel good when I see a beautiful woman over there. I attract to her. I go have a conversation with her. I ain't gotta conquer her.
Right.
I ain't gotta go reduce her to a sexual object.
Right.
But if I like a freaking candle, I like feminine energy. I like the beautiful things. I can say that I like that and just
be comfortable in your masculinity.
My masculinity and saying I like that. I like nice smells.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, just being yourself.
Yeah, just being.
Just being.
Just being, right?
We don't have to go and bend ourselves into this weird new age shit. I think it's like designed that way for a reason.
It really, absolutely, was designed that way for a reason, to keep you away from, I think a lot of it is just to keep you away from the femininity, because we all have that duality within us, that masculine and that feminine, right? But a lot of, from what I see, a lot of men have a hard time balancing their masculine and feminine energy. They think they have to be overly masculine, and then they have a wounded feminine, like you were talking about the mother wound earlier, and that's just where you feel like you can't open your heart up. But I think that when you're able to open your heart and accept the feminine within you, the intuitive, the nurturing, the part of you that's compassionate, that can come into the world full heart, but then also have that embodied with the masculine, then you will have, I feel like it's just going to create this wholeness within, right? And we talked about wholeness already. And it's just going to allow you to show up, like you said, more authentically, allow you to be yourselves, your relationships to get better, your life will get better. Like you won't be operating from the shadow as much, you know what I mean? So then you go out into the road and you can be who you truly are authentically, and you're no longer having this weight or this pressure on you, because you're no longer feeling like I have to do anything. I'm operating from the space of divinity. And from that point, from your being, right? And from that place, it's like, you don't got to worry about the how. All you have to do as a creator in this life is to show up, say, command what it is that you want, and then allow God and the universe to bring it to you. Like you said something earlier. You said, I'm just sitting here and it's like these opportunities are just coming to me. And when they come, it just flows. That's your soul. That's alignment. You don't have to ask. When you're sitting in your power and your divinity, you don't have to ask. You don't have to go out and chase anything, because it just comes to you. Because as long as it's in alignment with who you are and what you're meant to do, these are the moments. These are the moments that our souls yearn for, right? Because now we're being authentic. Now we're operating from our divine space, with that divine presence, from our I am within, right? The thing that connects all of us, you know? The oneness. The oneness that connects all of us. So
man, that's interesting. Like we're trying to just redefine so many things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, stop. We don't have to do all that.
Yeah, you don't. You just gotta be. You just gotta exist.
It's there. You know what I mean?
If anything, I would say take out all of the 3D stuff, right? And this is to everybody. Because we come out and we feel like we're born to do something in this world, right? We got to go out and we got to be a millionaire, or we got to be rich, or we got to conquer women, or conquer people, or conquer things, or whatever. And we have to have all of these things that's supposed to bring this sense of validation that never comes, because if you don't find it within, you're not going to find it without. So, which is why you hear about millionaires and billionaires who are lonely, and they or you know what I mean, because they chase all this external stuff. And the whole point of life, first of all, we're life being lived, like this is temporary, right? But we're forever who we truly are. But if we start to realize that we come here to redefine and find out who we truly are, and we go on our soul's journey, and that's the purpose, and none of this external stuff is all this legacy and our generation, that shit, that's not what we're here for. I mean, it's good to have a quality life, and the abundance is here for us.
You want me to
Yeah.
add to that?
Go ahead.
I think that's a beautiful thing about feminine and masculine perspective.
Yeah.
Feminine, circular, all things.
Mm-hmm.
Masculine is mission based.
Mm-hmm.
It's linear.
Yeah.
Right? So when you hear men oftentimes talk about legacy, I think there is something that innately, intuitively is within us that we're we search to actualize. Right? There's something in me, my connectedness to God. There's something in me that pulls me. It gets me up every day. It's been here since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It gets me up every day, and it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
A creator.
You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be creating this.
Yeah.
I have to give myself to that. And if I am, I'm being pulled by my masculine energy, my divine energy, which, because I was given this shell, I'm a man that possesses masculine and feminine energy, but I'm driven by my masculine energy all the time.
Yeah.
You know
and when you tie it together, because I agree with everything you're saying, but just from that mission base that you said, because we are here to create in the image of the creator, right? So that's the power that we have. But when you tie it together and you have that feminine embodiment and you add that to that point, it's like, okay, now I'm here to create, but I'm not here to create from the external. I'm here to bring all of this together within and create from that space. So now what I'm creating is based on what my soul needs, not from what my ego needs, right? Because I can go out here and I can create a business that I don't really care about, but it makes a lot of money. But if I come and I do soul's work, something that I fully align with, something that pulls my heart, now I'm creating a business. I still make the money, but I feel more fulfilled because now I'm living a purpose. So when I think that's when the feminine and masculine marry, is when you're doing the work from that place of both.
And I think that's when you can actually unite with a divine feminine energy.
Yeah.
It's because that person is tapped into their essence.
Yep.
And they're able to complement and add value. Because I know that there's some things in life I can't achieve without the feminine.
Absolutely. I don't think any yeah.
And there are things that the feminine can't achieve without the masculine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't.
Yeah, we need each other. We need each other.
I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, without the feminine, you know, so they're when both people are walking in their power, in their essence, then it links up and it syncs up, and that's where God resides, and that's where
and it's just beautiful. And then the power and what you create from that space, just with those two, what they say, when two or more touch and agree. I think that's what he meant by, or I don't like to say God is he. I think God is just it. Whatever. No gender, genderless, just divine feminine, masculine embodied in one. Who we are inside, exactly. And I think that yes, when you can pull that together, that there is this beautiful creation that comes from that. And then when it's done the way that it should be, the life that's created, the legacy that's created, the fulfillment that's created, and just us living out our soul's purpose and our just happiness, just the peace, the harmony, all of the things that are free, you know what I mean? That we don't have to do anything for. We can just choose in this moment, I want to be happy, I want to be joyful, I want to be harmonious. And I don't have to do anything to do that. I can just choose that that's what I want. You have that and all that. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I think everybody's kind of searching for that, but they're just searching for it externally and not within themselves. And that's why all this disruption and chaos is going on in the world, because everybody is searching for something outside of themselves that's always been within. If you want to control the masses, then that's how you do that. You're going to give people rules and limits and ceilings to stop them from realizing their I am, right? Because if they didn't, then it's like we can't let them know that they have this power. So we're gonna put this propaganda out, we're gonna put this media out, we're gonna give to this consumer society by feeding them these things that are going to alter their minds. That's going to alter their narrative, because if we knew how powerful this was, how much it truly was, and we will watch the consumption that we have, right? The things that's pulling us away. Everything out here on the outside of us is pulling us away from who we truly are. And it is not until we find our way back to that is when we realize the full purpose and meaning of life and what we're supposed to be doing with it, you know? How can upcoming generations be guided to embrace a balanced and holistic approach to masculinity and healing? What do you think needs to shift within the collective for us all to really stand in our power and operate from that place of wholeness?
For what it's worth, I just think people gotta get back to God. I just think we remove spirituality.
And you're not talking about religion, right? Just spirituality.
Yeah, spirituality.
Okay.
Our God selves.
Yeah.
If we want to bring religion into it, great, bring religion into it. I was raised underneath the religion of Christianity.
Same.
But I think that we don't pray. We believe in ourselves too much. I don't think we give credit to God for the things that we should. So I think that's a big problem in America. But we don't believe in anything. You know, and there was a reason why our grandparents stayed rooted in certain ideology. Because at the core, I think they believed in God. When we were in Africa, we believed in God, and I don't think we do that anymore.
Yeah. I don't think that we understand it, right? I think that it's been so much fluff and idiosyncrasies within community, within society, where, like I said earlier, we're all looking for God or some type of fulfillment or something external from our, like something that's outside of ourselves, right? And I think if we remove religion, we strip that away. We strip away the stories, right? We strip away what society says that we should be. We strip away all the things that we've been taught, and we get back to who we are. Now, if you just sit there, you realize that you are that's never changing. Like you have watched and observed everything that's happened in your life. And if you really think about it, I don't feel an age. Do you feel an age? You feel ageless, right? So it's like I am the awareness that is literally experiencing this life being lived, right? So I can't be that's created or destroyed. And realizing that, then that's realizing that I am, but not that I am as in some type of blasphemous way, right? But I am that also that connects everything. The consciousness, which is God, which is what connects us all, which is the oneness. And then once we realize that and we stop externalizing God and we realize that everything that we need is within here and we start moving and operating in that way, then I think I'm not a man, but I mean, as a collective, I think that we'll start, it'll get better for us. It'll get better.
We're able to tap into our God self, but we're able to tap into like that love.
Yeah.
Right? Because
God is love. Yeah.
And you'll be able to extend that to your neighbor.
Yeah.
You'll be able to extend that to your family. You'll be able to extend that to the community.
You'll
be able to extend that to the world.
Yeah.
What we see when we look at all these wars is a lack of love, but there's a lack of belief in God.
Absolutely.
And a higher belief in self. And what self wants. So it detaches from my neighbor that's in that other country and says, you know what, I want that thing over there. So I go out and try to take it and I war with myself or war with man, human, because I'm not loving myself. I'm not caring for my neighbor because I'm not caring for myself. But if I can extend that, if I can connect to that God within me, I can see my partner as God and I can love them in a certain way. I can see my kids as God and love them in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that ripple effect is felt in the community.
Yeah.
It's felt in the larger scope of humanity. You know what I mean? And as we get back there, then I think we'll be okay. And that's how you teach the next generation.
Yeah. And that's oneness. Yeah, that's oneness. I think I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's this literature called the Raw Contact, and it's about the law of one, where this group of channelers channeled this entity called Ra. They were supposed to be from the sixth dimension. I'm going real deep and spiritual right now, but it's only one law, and that in God's law, and that's the law of love. And you have two paths. You have the service to self and you have the service to others path, which is the God path, right? And the service to self, we see that, like you said, in wars and like people who try to make it about themselves, and we've seen that throughout history, right? So, like you said, if we get to that place of realizing that I love you because I see God in you. I don't judge you because I see God in you, and I understand that you are just operating from a place of as a creator, because we're all operating from our own place as a creator, right? And if you think about it, that's the only way that love and unity and oneness can be accepted and can really kind of flood or inundate the hearts of the masses, is just by understanding that we are one. And I'm not going to look at you and judge you or condemn you for your choices, because you're just another expression of God, you know? So I love that. I know we have been here for a while. We have been we have been given a 10-minute warning, and it's good. I mean, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And God, listen, I don't know how your soul feel right now, but I needed this today. I'm excited, and even if no one ever sees us, which you are going to see it, so whatever. I'm grateful we were able to hold space here today for each other, for the conversation, to hopefully touch somebody's heart out there, to get them to see things. I think we did a good one. We did something. Yeah, for sure. So again, thank you so much for being the first official guest for the Sacred Sanctuary platform, Mr. Devan DeMarcus. Everybody, shout out your Instagram. Tell people where to find you at.
At Devan DeMarcus, DevanDeMarcus, at Devan DeMarcus on IG. I have TikTok and all that stuff, but I very rarely use it. And the website is theheartwork.com, and work is spelled WERK, so theheartwork.com.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much. And if you guys have joined us here today and you say, hey, I loved everything that you discussed. How do I get to the next level? What do I need to do? I need help. You can, first and foremost, check out my book, The Master Manifester. It is available on Amazon. It is also available, you know what, I have a website, but I also have a Stan store that has all my links in the stan.store /shardaepearson. You can also find coaching links there. If you need one-on-one coaching, I do have a discovery call that's free. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there because I do this on every video. But thank you guys for joining us in the Sacred Sanctuary today. As usual, love and light. And until next time.